There is a kind of assignment, right, that can remind you exactly why we do this work. And it's not the technical side of what we get to do, nor is it a qualification once we've got it or whatever. It is the privilege of it. Yesterday, I was reminded of this. I stood in as a proxy parent. I know, a whole me, a mother of boys, representing a babe at this time. And it was at a Nigerian engagement party that I attended yesterday. We had no idea. We just got there and it was like, oh yeah, do you mind? I'm like, oh, and I'm still not over it, okay? It's just the excitement of it. So my husband and I were asked to represent the family of the bride because her parents couldn't make it over from the States. There was this Esther issue. They just could not get they didn't do it beforehand. And when they got to the airport, they just could not. And they tried days, like it didn't happen. So they were watching remotely. And while we were there in the room representing them, which, yeah, it's special on their own. Not that we know them. We're actually the on the groom side, like we know the groom, but the bride's family are from the States, so we got to, I mean, before the hand, we spoke to them, like what the wishes, what they got to know about them and stuff like that, personality. We asked like questions about what they want, given a blessing, what they want to be said and things like that. And it was so it was unique. So like so this is our daughter now that we are and I have all boys, right? Boys, come on, this is a babe, this is a girl. And yeah, so we were there doing the thing in terms of like the engagement and the whole 9 year, like, yeah, you've invited us to come into your home and like who is this person and how to bring all the different ladies and like, yeah, is this one? And having the negotiators having and just sitting down there, the parents and there, but we're speaking on their behalf, and it was just so beautiful. And something that I've never experienced before. It's not something that I have done or like or prepared for. It was just like, hey, do you mind standing in? Like, okay. And my husband just stretched it out. It's just like natural for him and like just acting like the dude is and stuff like that. We did the blessing. We did like, yes, this is like asking the daughter, like, okay, is this the gentleman? Is this the person? Like, is this we have so many daughters, which one? It was so beautiful. I was like, okay. I mean, my part in it was just his smile and heart. I was just there for the blessing, for the like checking on the daughter and like reassuring and everything. And but my husband's there and doing all the negotiating and the talking and all this thing. He said all the right things, he did all things, and yeah, I was just quietly taking it all in. It was like so weird, but yeah, it was fun. Feeling the weight of the honor. Do you know what I mean? Like just being asked, beautiful. To be able to do that. And then, the celebration at the end, the dancing, the food, all those things. And it took me straight back, the whole experience. It took me back to the last Nigerian wedding I actually interpreted um, the announcement, the the advice from the elders, um, the whole 9 yard, calling in and responding, the bride's coming in with her friends, the groomsmen and his friends, the color, the beauty, the music, the language, the dive, like the food, like everything. You're having to interpret the whole vibe of it, the beauty of it. And oh my goodness, just remembering it now, it just brings back all the memories. Because there's something about Nigerian celebration, okay? There is something that just takes over the whole room. Like you feel it. The joy. It's not just a container, it's just the joy, it spills over. It's just like everywhere. Everyone feels it. Such a beautiful like feeling. And to be trusted in that moment, okay, this is just the engagement part, like the introductory part and stuff like that. As if, I mean, talk about this and what I just did yesterday, but that wedding itself, to just carry the person's words and carry the feeling. It is something that I can't fully describe, interpreting that moment, that union, like doing a thing, like, yeah, beautiful, right? Having to have, to be first to be asked and to then have that cultural, relation to it and stuff like that, even though it's not my main diet. But here's something that most people don't really know about me, right? Yes, I have that connection to the Nigerian culture, and it actually goes deeper than just interpreting and being Nigerian. I did part of my schooling in the Yoruba region for about a year. I went into boarding school, and when I arrived at this place, I was one of those people they called Oimbo, which means the white one. I mean, look at me. Do I look white? Of course not. But they called me Oimbo, like the outsider. I didn't speak the language. I like didn't understand totally their side of culture, even though I was Nigerian, but that side. And because of that, at the time, apparently, one of the school that I went to was one of the best ones in the region, and so my parents wanted me to go there and stuff like that. So because of that, they wanted like me to stay close to the seniors to keep an eye, keep me close, keep me safe. All right, keep me from I don't know whatever, thinking maybe bullying, not knowing or whatever. And the seniors at the time, they had one condition, one simple condition. As long as I do not understand what they are saying, I mean, I have no understanding of, I don't, and I don't interfere with their thing. No problem. I can stay, is what they said to to the mistress and my parents and stuff. So I stayed because I don't know the language. I don't really know their side of culture. I was there when I'm like in the board. I just listen. I was quiet, like just do my thing quietly without even trying to. My intention was even to learn the language, but the language just started coming in. I started picking one word here and there, not formally, but just association. I started to like get it, to hear what they're saying. So I didn't learn from a textbook. I learned from observing, just from being insider of like really hearing it all the time and placing this and that. Ah, okay, this is what that means. Okay, this is okay. So hearing it every single day, living in it, in the middle of it, and seeing how everyone's like using it. So, man, I started picking up a word or two, right? And yeah, I mean, while I was there, like they would crack jokes. I wouldn't even laugh. I wouldn't want to make them know that I understand. If not, I'll be kicked out and go down, sit with my peers, and God knows what would have happened. And then came the school break. It was now time, you stayed a while in the body and it's time to go home for the break. I think it was the end of the year or something. So I went back home. Now among my own people that know me and that love me, my parents, family, neighborhood. Yeah. And this is the deal. Now somebody will ask me a question. And before my mind would ever catch up with what I wanted to say, my body responded. Okay. And what did my body respond in? My body responded in Yoruba. So now it would just come out. You say something, I'll just respond in Yoruba. You say another thing, I'll just naturally, because now I'm free. Before I was on edge, I was like checking, making sure that it didn't split. Like I didn't even say one word to any soul in that school that I now understand. So now I'm in my natural space and I feel like, oh, I'm safe, I'm cool. No one's gonna do anything, right? And then just like I've always been there, like the words would just come out and flow, and I'll just say it. And the reaction that I got wasn't the reaction I was expecting. It was more like, huh? You mean you went to school and you came back speaking like that? Is that all you were speaking there? Is that what you learned over there? Is this what happened to English? What are you doing? What are you speaking? The laughter, like, oh my, my parents were worried, thinking this is all I did. The shock on their faces, everyone's like, and it wasn't like I could hold myself. Somebody would come in, a cousin, a friend, and I'll just be responding in Yoruba, or I'll be conscious. Now I'm conscious speaking English, and then the Yoruba would just slide in. I'm not saying one. The joy. And my parents said, They looked at each other and said, like, she's not going back there. She is not, That's it. We're done. Just like that, that chapter was closed for me. I didn't even get to say goodbye to the people that I've like made friends or like no goodbyes. It was just, that's it. That's not what we sent you there for. And it wasn't what I tried to explain to them. I never said a word of Yoruba when I was there. You know, we're there, I said, goodbye, see you next term, and next thing, no next term, just done. No goodbyes. Don't even couldn't reach that because when I went to school, there was nothing like cell phones or email, like nada like that, right? So that being said, that happened, and that's how I got to know the language. I got to know the culture. I got to know like the nuances, the music from that region, the warmth from them, and the whole 9 yards, right? That never left. It didn't. So when I was asked to interpret this Nigerian wedding, which happened to be from the Yoruba region, it felt like home. It felt like, okay, let's do this. I know this stuff, right? I know the culture. I know the language and nuance, like the expression, because I just wasn't doing the technical job here anymore. I was doing it as someone, an insider, because I have been shaped by these people, right? I have been in their midst and like know their stuff. And something that my body had lived in and had held in long before I even interpreted it formally, right? So I had that down. And I think that's what made that work so sacred. It's like one of my, when you ask me, well, like, what's one of those jobs that you've done that, like, yeah, this is one of it for me. Like having to interpret that wedding brought it all home. Like I was free to really express myself. I mean, they call this person the alaga, right? Who is more like the announcer or the person who does most of the thing. And sometimes you just kind of like slip in a Yoruba word or stuff like that, and thinking she had to then, you know how they'll say the word and then they'll have to interpret it in English and stuff like that. She's saying it in Yoruba, and I'm like, hey, signing it in in British Sign Language for the deaf couple, and it's like it was just flowing. It wasn't like, okay, now we said in Yoruba, now let's say it in English, and the interpreter was like, nah, I've got you, babe. I know what you're saying, and it was just like, and it was not just a neutral conduit. You're that person, right? With history. Like I have connection. It was so beautiful to be able to do that and do it with like the reason of care in the moment, just beyond just getting the words right, but getting the feeling, the nuances, understanding what they're doing, and the whole thing made it one of my favorite jobs that I've ever done to interpret for. And most people think that interpreters are just supposed to stay invincible, like neutral and in the background. And professionally, yes, we serve the moment, and we serve the people who need us, right? But the reason we do it well is also the reason it lands, because we are human beings and we have been shaped by the world we've lived in, the way that makes us exactly right for certain rooms, right? For certain moments, for like certain assignment. And when you find yourself in one of those rooms, it's you just know. You know, and you feel like, yeah, I did that. Yeah, I can't wait for my next Nigerian wedding. I'm hoping the next one is an Igbo celebration, which is like my region. Or the next one could be a West African gathering. Who knows? Like, come on now. I'm rooted in a culture. I'm like, that's me. Wherever I get carried to someone most important words, because for me, that is the privilege of this work, of being able to do this. It's not just the skill. It is the privilege of being allowed to be in that space and to do the thing. So I want to hear from you now. Like, what is the assignment that reminds you of exactly why you do this work? What is that for you? Drop that in the comment section because I truly genuinely I want to know. I want to like see what brings you like, oh yeah, let's go let's go and do that one. Like what brings you joy? What's that? For me, I think the next one will be burps. I will explain I've done five. Like that'll be something else that yes, I love. I am Nene and we do this every single day. Remember that your voice matters and it is your time to use it. Bye for now.